Hi guys, this is Mena and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about my mental health and about a diagnosis that I got about 3 years ago. It's mixed personality disorder. Let's start from the definition and what does it mean and why and what happened to me. Mixed personality disorder is a personality disorder when somebody doesn't meet the criteria of one specific personality disorder but has tendencies and has symptoms of different personality disorders. Because I don't know everything by heart, of course, and there is a lot of information, I have my laptop next to me and I will be reading some of things so you have right information and the true information so I don't make any mistakes. I was diagnosed with mixed personality disorder when I asked my psychiatrist what does this mean, and she said that I have borderline personality disorder tendencies as well as schizotypal. So today I will be talking about two of them and also about my own experience and how I dealt with that and deal with that right now. For a very long time I didn't know what happens with me and what kind of disorder I have, because I felt that something is wrong, but I couldn't actually understand. I was reading a lot of different disorders online. I thought about autism, I thought about ADHD, I thought about other disorders like multiple personality disorders. First of all, why I decided to go and get diagnosed. The thing is, when I attended therapy, I had a very good professional, a young professional, but she was very insightful and really a very good psychologist. I asked her about if she sees any disorder in me, because I told her that sometimes I feel like I have different personalities and that I switch between them and I cannot exactly understand myself and what I want. I'm changing a lot and I'm shifting from one to another. And she said, "Did you hear about borderline personality disorder?" I had no information about borderline. I have never heard about it. I have heard about bipolar, and probably bipolar is more known than borderline. But of course, I started to do my research, to read about it. And when I went to the psychiatrist, she actually didn't see that I meet all the criteria, because you have to meet at least 5 of 9 criteria of the diagnostics. She diagnosed me with mixed personality disorder because I have also some symptoms of the schizotypal. It could be that I have both borderline and schizotypal, but it's just easier in psychiatry to diagnose with mixed personality disorder as one diagnosis. But I didn't know about schizotypal as well. I started diving deep, and I think personally that I meet all the criteria of borderline personality disorder. And let's talk about this disorder first. So maybe I will read a little bit so I give you the right information. This, according to the diagnostic criteria DSM-5, borderline personality disorder is defined by a pervasive pattern of instability in relationships, self-image and emotions, plus marked impulsivity, starting by early adulthood. Diagnosis requires meeting at least 5 of 9 specific criteria. As I told you before, let's see all of them. First of all is frantic efforts to avoid real or imagined abandonment. Second is a pattern of unstable and intense interpersonal relationships. Third, identity disturbances. 4, impulsivity in at least 2 areas that are potentially self-damaging. 5, recurrent suicidal behavior, gestures or threats, or self-mutilating behavior. 6, affective inability due to a marked reactivity of mood. 7, chronic feelings of emptiness. 8, inappropriate intense anger or difficulty controlling anger. And 9 is transient stress-related paranoid ideation or severe dissociative symptoms. Let's talk about what I think by myself, what I have, and what I experienced. So first, frantic efforts to avoid real or imagined abandonment. I guess in my teen times and in my early adulthood, I was really very scared of rejection and of abandonment. I used to become more similar to a person that I like, because I thought that maybe they will like me more if I'm similar to them. So I think that's one of the signs that I was fearing abandonment and rejection. And also I was like giving a lot of love, treating people, buying them gifts, and all of that. And now actually when I'm older, I don't do these things like regularly. Sometimes, of course, because I love people, but when I was younger, it was like very prominent. The second thing is a pattern of a stable and intense relationships. Like I don't have to speak about that at all. If someone who knows me watching this video probably knows how many different relationships I had. I think that they were okay. Like for me, it's not a problem to change a partner. I mean, maybe it sounds cruel and it sounds really bad, but for me, if I don't feel and I don't see the future with my partner, it was never a hard decision for me to leave when I was younger. Right now, it's absolutely different. I actually want to mention that after my 30s, I felt like therapy helped me a lot to regulate myself. And also, I bought a book on dialectical behavioral therapy. So I started to do these exercises and I started actually to catch myself a lot when I'm thinking negatively and trying to change my thoughts. Also CBT, the cognitive behavioral therapy. If something intense is happening in my life, these exercises really help. So I highly recommend Googling cognitive behavioral therapy and dialectical behavioral therapy. Identity disturbance. Oh my God. This one is one of the worst that I have. I still don't know who I am. If someone asks me, who are you? And like, what do you want in life? And what are your dreams? I have a lot of questions in my mind. I still can't answer this question. I don't know who I am. I have no understanding, and I tried different things. I tried a lot of different psychological tests. I tried books. I tried Googling and watching some videos on how to understand what you want in life and who you are. And unfortunately for me, it's one of the worst symptom, and I still don't know. I can actually tell you what I like and what I dislike. I have strong opinions on things, but when it comes to who am I and what I want in life, I usually struggle to be assertive, to be sure, you know. So there's a lot of unsure feelings around this. Impulsivity in at least two areas that are potentially self-damaging: spending, sex, substances, reckless driving, binge eating. When I was young, when I was in my 20s, I was definitely a sex addict. I had problems with sexual urges and I had a lot of different partners. And I think that also had substance abuse, as I was talking about this in my previous video. So definitely I had this impulsivity in my 20s. Right now, after my 30s, as I say, I am not that much driven by my impulses. I can control them and regulate myself. I am impulsive, but not in like areas that are self-damaging. I'm not harming myself physically anymore because I used to do that as well. Sometimes I spend some money, but I try to buy cheap things if I am impulsive so I don't regret them. Yeah, maybe some emotional eating. I had also some problems with this in the past 5 years, but I don't think that I actually meet this criteria. Number 5, recurrent suicidal behavior, gestures, or threats, or self-mutilating behavior. Okay, so about the threats in the relationship, I don't threat to commit suicide and to kill myself, but I have thoughts. When there is a conflict, a heavy one, when we cannot resolve properly, and where is a lot of emotions and feelings going on, when I feel betrayed, when I feel disrespected, when I feel that my boundaries are crossed, when I feel like my personal space is invaded, that I actually need a lot of times I have suicidal thoughts, and I learned to live with that and understand that that's normal. A lot of people actually go through this, but when I used to think that this is very harmful, it actually was harmful. But when I started to look at these thoughts that they cannot harm me because they are only thoughts, and that I am actually not planning. I don't have this behavior anymore, but I had, and I had a suicide attempt. As you know from my previous video, I was never threatening anybody. I just maybe told somebody that I was thinking about, that I had suicidal thoughts, but I was never threatening anybody, never in my life. And the thing is why? Because my mom was threatening to kill herself and my father was threatening to kill himself when they were unstable and had their own problems, and I know how much of pain and how much of guilt and heaviness it goes on the person. If you threat to kill yourself, you are manipulating people. It's really disgusting, and it's really very disrespectful. So I have never threatened anybody by suicide. Affective instability due to a marked reactivity or mood, intense episodic dysphoria, irritability, anxiety, usually lasting a few hours but not more than a few days. So it's like mood dysregulations, right? Yeah, I have this as well. And a lot of times my mood is switching. It can switch from very low to very high, and actually it can be changing throughout the day. It's exhausting, and it's also exhausting for other people. So yes, I do have this one. 7, chronic feelings of emptiness. I wouldn't say that these are chronic feelings that I have, but I surely do have this feeling of emptiness, and a lot of times is like connected with identity disturbance. I like this metaphor, an empty jar. Like I feel like it a lot of times. I don't know, maybe that the jar is made of glass, and also sometimes feel like I'm a glass, yeah, it's quite prominent. Number 8, inappropriate, intense anger, difficulty controlling anger. Yeah, I have this as well. What's interesting about the anger and the anger issues is that when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, I directed all my anger inwards, and I was suffering, so it was like the destructive behavior. After my 30s, after my previous relationship, I told myself that I will never, ever again be silent, and I will always speak out, and I will always tell everything what I think to my next partner. I'm angry a lot of times, and I'm learning with this. So this is one of the things that I learned, to be assertive and to communicate clearly without emotions, rationally. And yeah, with DBT and CBT it helps a lot. And the last one is stress-related paranoid ideation or severe dissociative symptoms. Yeah, sometimes I have this as well, but not so much, not so often. Maybe between the age of 25 and 30, I definitely had this. I definitely was dissociating, and sometimes it feels like I'm not in my body, like my body is not my body. And it's a very strange feeling, but when it's intense, it's like you completely detach from the reality, you completely detach from what's going on. You're like somewhere inside my mind, somewhere there. Let's move on to the schizotypal personality disorder. This one is very interesting. This one is absolutely different. For a long time, I thought that schizotypal is actually schizoid, and it's connected to schizophrenia, but it has some similarities, but it's definitely absolutely separate, different personality disorder. It has its own criteria, its own diagnostics. Here's the definition. Schizotypal personality disorder is characterized by severe social anxiety, thought disorder, paranoid ideation, transient psychosis, and often unconventional beliefs. People with this disorder feel extreme discomfort with maintaining close relationships with people and avoid forming them, mainly because the subject thinks their peer harbor negative thoughts towards them. So let's go through the symptoms that must be present, and of course it has to be at least 5 of the following symptoms. First one is ideas of reference. I didn't know what that means, so I googled it, and it says the false, sometimes transitory belief that innocuous events, coincidences, or actions of others have strong specific personal significance. It is the conviction that the external world is referring to or communicating directly with oneself. So yes, I definitely have this, and I had this a lot when I actually went through psychosis. and it actually happens sometimes even now, but I understand that it's only my brain. It's just like an error, it's like a bug in the system. So I understand it now, but when I had psychosis and many years after psychosis, I really experienced this like on everyday life. Strange beliefs or magical thinking that influences behavior and is inconsistent with subculture norms. Superstitious beliefs in clairvoyance, telepathy, sixth sense, bizarre fantasies, or preoccupation. Okay, let's dive deep into this one. The symptom I had since I was a teenager. I started believing in witchcraft, in astrology, in all those magical things like in curses, in hoaxes, in clairvoyance, in telepathy, and in sixth sense, and I still do believe till these days. Actually, there are a lot of people who believe these things. There is a lot of religions also that actually have some magical things going on. So I don't know if that's really a criteria that have to be met when diagnosing this disorder. I don't know that it's very harming. It actually changes your life, your behavior, and your perception on life. But I don't think that it's, really harmful. But now my mind is working in a way that I know it's more about subconscious, it's more about our mind, it's more about our inner feelings. But I still believe that there is telepathy. I still believe that people can communicate just, by looking at each other, that they can send information. I still believe that people have some kind of clairvoyance. Some people are more prone to notice minimalistic changes in people's appearances, voices, and then they can actually read their energy, I still believe that. And I don't know if I will ever stop. I still believe that moon has an impact on that, but it's actually scientifically proven. And also the moon has 28 days. The cycle of the moon is 28 days, and the feminine cycle, the period, is also considered to be 28 days, so it's not a coincidence. In my opinion, I still have that magical thinking, beliefs in energy, in aura, spiritual things. So number 3, abnormal perceptual experiences including bodily illusions. Can be true, but not too much. Like, I don't know, I have problems with my legs because they're not straight enough. I don't think that I actually need this one. Strange thinking and speech, for example, vague, circumstantial, metaphorical, over elaborate, or stereotyped. I don't know, I should probably ask someone, but it can be true that I have some kind of strange thinking and speech. It can be true. I always felt a little bit different than others, and also felt like I think and I perceive this world a little bit differently than the majority of people. But I should ask probably you. What do you think about? Do I have strange thinking and speech? Probably yes. Suspiciousness or paranoid ideation. I'm very suspicious. I'm absolutely fucked up when it comes to relationships and suspiciousness. I'm not talking about like I'm suspicious if somebody is cheating. Like, I have never been suspicious on my partners, but I'm suspicious that people are talking negatively about me, that they speak bad things about me, inappropriate or constricted affect, disturbances in how emotions are outwardly expressed compared to situational norms or normal intensity. I don't think that inappropriate affect, but constricted affect, when it's reduced and limited, I think so. It's like limited intensity of emotional expression. Sometimes I do believe that I have limited emotional expressions. Many times when there are emotional situations or people are sharing their emotional situations, I plan and think how I have to react and what emotions do I have to show. So sometimes it feels like that. Next one is strange behavior or appearance. Regarding the appearance, this is interesting fact that I was changing a lot of appearances, and it's also connected with borderlines. Borderlines are usually also eccentric, very stylish, or they have different alternative styles. So, and also they change their styles a lot. They change their hairstyles a lot, And I used to be like that as well. I changed a lot of different styles and I had so many hairstyles and different colors and different haircuts. Lack of close friends. Yeah, I have that. I almost don't have any friends left, but I'm working on this. I have some online friends that I text regularly and we have quite close relationship. There are some people from my school. There is one girl that I have met maybe 2 years ago that we see each other occasionally. So I definitely call her my friend. There are some friends also that I meet like maybe once in a year, but I really don't have a lot of close friends or like a one specific very close friend to mine that I can share my whole life with. Usually my close friend is my partner. So at the moment, my partner is my closest friend. And also maybe my mom is also my closest friend, but also I cannot tell her everything. So it's just like a relative, the closest relative. But no, I don't have close friends. It actually changed a lot after I stopped consuming alcohol and going out, because my friends were deeply maybe connected in going out and to clubs, to bars and to socializing. But after I stopped this, it became, I don't know, they became naturally distant, I think. But I'm not into staying late, partying and all of that. So maybe that's just because of this. The last one is excessive social anxiety that does not diminish with familiarity and tends to be associated with paranoid fears. I definitely have social anxiety, that's for sure, especially in a group of people. I have big social anxiety. If there are more than 3 people, I definitely shut down and it's very hard for me to socialize, to communicate. So it definitely is a problem for me and I'm suffering from this really hard, because usually it's connected with work. When I was working as a saleswoman, it helped me a lot because I was working alone, on my own, or with a partner. So it's definitely much easier for me to communicate with person one-on-one than in the office. Usually it's because of my emotional anger issues, my mood issues. I really don't want to show my mood and my emotional dysregulation to my colleagues and at my work. And also another thing is that I feel overstimulated a lot in a group of people. My mind is working overtime. It's always like, running in a circle. So yeah, it's exhausting. Living with mixed personality disorder is very fun, but it's exhausting and it's harmful. And that's why I attend therapy, that's why I take medicine, and that's why I learn how to regulate myself. So I just want to show the dialectical behavior therapy skills workbook. It looks like this, and it's actually like there are a lot of different things that you can do. It's really worth it. So I definitely recommend it, especially for the borderlines. It has exercises for learning mindfulness, interpersonal effectiveness, emotion regulation, and distress tolerance. Okay, so I think this is enough for today. The video was really long. I hope that it was interesting for you and that you have learned something from it. So thank you very much for being with me. Thank you for watching, and please stay true to yourself. Please take care of yourself. Always take care of your mental health, because it's crucial. It's the most important thing. Our head and our mind is something that creates and dictates our life. So if you have healthy mind, you will have healthy life. Thank you one more time and see you next time. Bye.